Good morning and welcome to Algebra 1 for Tuesday, June 2nd. Today we're going to go over more examples to prepare for tomorrow's quiz on the discriminant and the quadratic formula. So again, I'm going to give you 3 prompts right now for discriminant, and then I'm going to ask you to pause the video, solve them, and then play the rest of the video to watch their solutions. Number 1 is y equals negative 1/2 x squared minus 3x minus 8. Number 2, y equals 6x squared minus 1. And number 3, y equals x squared plus 5x plus 2. Now I'm going to ask you to pause the video, solve them, and then play when you're ready. Pause now. Welcome back. Let's solve the 3. Again, identify your ABC, does not hurt. This time A is negative 1/2, B is negative 3, and C is negative 8. Lots of negatives in this one. So B squared, since it's negative, put it in parentheses, negative 3 squared, minus 4 times negative 1/2 times negative 8. B squared minus 4AC. A lot of negatives. Negative 3 squared is positive 9. Now a negative times a negative times a negative is negative. If you can't do that, then just multiply it in order. Negative 4 times negative 1/2 is positive 2, times negative 8 is negative 16. So it's 9 minus 16. And 9 minus 16 is negative 7, which tells you there will be no solutions to that quadratic problem if it were solved. If you would use the quadratic formula to solve the quadratic problem, you would have found a negative discriminant, a negative number under the square root, which would have meant there's no real solution. Number 2, A is the number 6, B is missing, so it's a 0, and C is negative 1. Quick question, how do you know it's the B that's missing and not the C? Because the B value is the coefficient of x, and there is no x term up there. There's an x squared, but that's the A value. B squared minus 4AC, that's 0 squared minus 4 times 6 times negative 1. 0 squared is 0. Negative times a negative is a positive. Negative 4 times 6 was negative 24 times negative 1 is positive 24. And that means that the discriminant is the number 24. So there are 2 solutions. All right. So 2 solutions there. No solutions for number 1. Well, number 3, if I'm keeping with any kind of pattern here, you might see. But let's just find out what's going on here. A is the number 1 this time. B is positive 5. And C is positive 2. B squared, 5 squared, minus 4 times 1 times 2, it's 25. Negative 4 times 1 is negative 4, times 2 is negative 8, and that's 17. Oh, look, it's another positive number. That means that there are 2 solutions here as well. Don't assume just because there's 3 prompts and there's 3 types of answers that I'm giving you one of each. That one was not a 1 solution problem, it was 2. All right, well, that covers our discriminant practice for today. Now we're going to talk about solving with the quadratic formula, which, again, we've been doing now for several days and we should be more comfortable with now. So here are 3 prompts for the quadratic formula. Number 4, y equals 2x squared plus 1 minus 6. We'll do them one at a time as we did yesterday. Pause now, solve it. Press play when you're ready. All right, let's solve it. ABC. A is the number 2. B is, oops, I forgot the x. That was supposed to be minus x. Plus 1x. And I left off bx. If you need to pause again and try to solve it again because you were confused, go for it. But there was supposed to have been an x there. So b is the number 1, c is the number -6. Let's see what happens. X equals -1 plus or minus 1 squared minus 4 times 2 times -6 all over 2 times 2. Again, x equals -b plus or minus the square root of b squared minus 4ac all over 2a. -1 plus or minus square root of 1. -4 times 2 is -8 times -6 is positive 48 all over 4. That's -1 plus or minus square root 49 over 4, and hopefully you guys know the square root of 49 is 7. So it's -1 plus or minus 7 over 4. Now we can break it into two solutions. The first solution is what happens if it's plus 7. -1 plus 7 is 6, and 6 over 4 is 3/2 or 1 1/2, 1.5, 1 1/2, it does not matter, whatever you want to call it. You can even just call it 3/2 if you want to. My marker doesn't want to write right now. And we also have the negative option, -1 minus 7 over 4. -1 minus 7 is -8 over 4 is -2. So I think we're going to retire this marker. Two solutions, it's 1 1/2 and -2. We knew that because there was a positive number under the discriminant. That means that this parabola would cross through the x-axis at two locations, when x is 1 1/2 and also when x is -2. Okay, next problem coming right up. Let's go to blue because our black is shot. Number 5. Y equals x squared minus 4. This time I didn't accidentally leave off anything. This is the question I want you to solve. Pause, solve it, turn it back on when you're ready, and go. Welcome back. A, B, C. A is the number 1. B is missing. It's a 0. C is -4. Okay. X equals -0 plus or minus the square root of 0 squared minus 4 times 1 times -4 all over 2 times 1. And that's -0, which is just 0. You don't need -0. Plus or minus 0. -4 times 1 is -4 times -4 is positive 16 over 2. That is 0 plus or minus the square root of 16 over 2. And again, hopefully we know that the square root of 16 is 4 over 2. Now there will be two solutions. We had a positive discriminant, so let's solve our two options. X is 0 plus 4 over 2, which is 2. Or x equals 0 minus 4 over 2, which is -2. So this parabola crosses the x-axis at both -2 and +2. Something of note, when the b term is missing, and therefore b is 0, because there's no just x on its own, the solution you're going to find, given that there is one, is going to be the same number, both positive and negative. So plus or minus 2, plus or minus 3, plus or minus 5, whatever it is, it's going to be the same value on either side of the origin. And one more prompt to round out the day. Please remember, again, this is your quiz prep. You can watch this again when you take the quiz so that you are well aware of what you are expected to do. They are similar to these prompts. Today's video and yesterday's video, both good options for watching while you solve. Number 6, y equals 3x squared minus 4x plus 2. Again, pause the video and solve. Play when you're ready and go. Here we are again. ABC. A is the number 3. B is -4, and C is 2. So x equals negative b, that's negative negative 4, plus or minus the square root of b squared. So negative 4 in parentheses squared minus 4 times 3 times 2 all over 2 times 3. Okay, so negative negative 4 is 4, plus or minus radical, square root. Negative 4 squared is 16. Negative 4 times 3 is negative 12, times 2 is negative 24, all over 6. As you might see right now, we're going to have a negative number under the square root symbol. Now again, that does not mean you just disregard the negative and continue. You can't solve the problem because there is no place where that parabola crosses the x-axis. It doesn't cross, which tells you that there's no solution because, again, the solution to a quadratic equation is the place on the x-axis where it crosses through. Since there are no x-intercepts here, there is no solution. Quiz tomorrow. Feel free to watch the video as you solve the quiz. No reason for low grades. Let me know if you have any questions with an email. Otherwise, have a wonderful day.